Skyblazer.
While we wait for the Hulk, what kind of tech should we look out for in this game?
Oh, we got zips. We got so many zips.
Last time I watched it.
I'm gonna cut the sound just a little bit further down. Okay.
Good old Raglan, Lord of Darkness.
Yep. We got zips for days, though. There's a couple little bit of tidbits about this game, too, but we'll go over those as they come up. At the very least, I definitely encourage people, even before I've started playing it, to check out this game. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't take too long. I think most people in a blind playthrough will get through in like 2 to 3 hours, something like that. But there's a lot of kind of creative elements, and you know, just by virtue of how the game controls, it's a lot of fun. So check it out. A lot of the tech that we go through also might look kind of intimidating, but as far as zips go, it's like this is one of the best games that you could kind of try to familiarize yourself with zips, just because most of the time you don't have a penalty for failure. It's not like, oh, I tried this frame perfect skip and I missed it, so runs over. You get a little more leeway than that, so something to really dive into.
Sounds good. So yeah, be on the lookout for those, chat. I believe the Hulk is with us now. Is that correct, the Hulk?
Yes. Hi.
Hey!
Alright, so I'm going to shut up and let these two people who actually know a ton about the game take over from here. And I will see y'all on the other side. Take care, everybody.
Alright, thanks for joining me, the Hulk.
Yeah, hi. How are you doing? Nice run so far.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's plenty more to come. I think this first block will get me through a third of my submissions, about as far as both number of runs and time goes, but yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You have so many games. That's
well, let's call it. I had a moment of not thinking straight, and just submitted all the games that I ran, not really thinking about the commitment or the actual possibility of them all getting in. But you know, it just means more for everybody, right? Any case, do you have the stream for viewing up, or are you watching on the Speed Gaming channel?
I don't have the stream for viewing. I can view on Speed Gaming, but I guess I'm gonna be behind if I watch that.
Just sending you a message real quick, and I'll let you figure that out. But yeah, we'll get started.
Okay.
We'll go from here.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Sure. Just to give a little bit more background about my experiences with this game, this is the first game that I speedran, and I don't really have kind of an origin story of why I picked this up. I just remember I had played it sometime when I was a kid, and started to look into it again when I think I got into speedrunning right after AGDQ 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And, you know, just wanted to revisit it. PJ did a little bit of work in just kind of showing that, hey, these zips aren't too bad, you guys should be using them. And then from there I kind of took it and tried to adapt more towards the task strats, and got runs out with that. So like, this is my earliest speedrun, probably one of the ones that I put a lot of effort into, and I'm quite proud of, so glad to be able to show it off to you guys.
Yeah, you can be proud of this. Your time is pretty amazing at this game, to be honest. I didn't know that was actually your first speed game.
Yep, it was the first one I worked on. Are you all set?
Well, okay, yes, I have the hitbox.
Okay, sounds good.
Stream, so...
I'll get it going then.
Yep, ready whenever you are.
Alright. Fortunately, you gotta wait through the splash openings again. Alright, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, so guys, this is Skyblazer. It's one of the unknown gems of the SNES, I would say. And right off the bat, Omnigamer is already taking some damage, and don't worry, that's intentional, because what he's trying to do is to set up the next cutscene to be as quick as possible. You're gonna see that in a few seconds. There, at the end of this introduction level, you see the big bad guy. He's called Ashura. He captured the princess. So yeah, this is your basic story. But in that cutscene, he actually throws fireballs at you, and they damage you one by one hit point at a time. So that's why you want to go to that cutscene with only one. So this is why you want to pre-damage yourself in order to make that cutscene as fast as possible. So yeah, talk a little bit about the game. This game, if you play it in its original Japanese version, you see that there's a lot of Indian references. So yeah, I think your character is called Garuda or something.
Yeah, there's a lot more of those references in the Japanese version. They kind of censored it a little bit or toned it back in the US release.
Yeah, your character is just named Sky or whatever, so it's a bit more generic. But still, in the music itself, you can feel that it was taken a lot from India and stuff. So here, Fault Line is root. This is the first level. There's not too much to talk about it. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, at this point, I really don't have any of the powers that kind of let me have other options. It's just kind of proceed and don't get hit.
Yes.
But that changes up on the next stage. We have to do... Well, I'm a fan of the newer routes on this just because it involves a lot more damage boosts to kind of get through these lizards. And it just looks a lot more swag than before, which involved using our one special power right now as a Crescent to get by them.
Yes, Crescent can kill them in one hit, but using Crescent slows you down a little bit, and that actually is a little bit slower than just getting past them with the damage boosts. So here we're gonna see something really cool. Alright, so not going for the grounds, but oh, you got the wall zip for first try, so that's nice. So what happened? This game has a weird glitch which allows you to zip through stuff. Oh, you didn't get to the...
No,
that's fine.
I wasn't counting them, so I dropped one, but...
Alright. Yeah, that's not a big issue. So when you crouch, punch, and jump, your hitbox is going to be inside the floor for a very tiny amount of time. And if you happen to be clinging on the wall and using Crescent at a very specific frame, you can zip through the wall to the left. And that's enabled him to go to the left and then be sent back upwards really, really fast. It's basically skipping that last part of the level.
Yeah.
And as for the boss, it was possible to beat him in only one cycle by timing both the 7 Crescent shots. He failed the last one, but that's actually a bit harder than it looks.
Yeah, there's a very specific spacing that you want to be so that the Crescent that you just fired disappears, while also getting you ready for the next one so you can still hit the boss on time. So it is kind of difficult. There's the frame window on that's relatively small. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually for the last few hits, the boss is only going to be vulnerable for 1 frame before he turns invulnerable again. So you have to have a Crescent inside him when he turns vulnerable again, to make sure that he will be constantly hit. Yeah, those auto-scrollers are really cool, by the way, because we get to talk about the game.
Yeah, they do tend to split up stages by... Well, one kind of difficult stage and then an auto-scroller right after. Just how it goes, but at the very least...
Now...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is now a much harder stage, at least for the speedrun. So here he went to this door in order to reset the position of these moving platforms, so he doesn't have to wait to push. But even if going to the door takes a bit of time, it's actually faster. And by beating the first boss, he got this really cool power, which is Combat Dash. Nice zips there. For the third zips, you only have 3 tries, and if you don't make it, you get crushed by that block, so yeah, it's actually really difficult. I still have trouble with practice. So combat dash is going to be extremely handy for the speedrun in general in this game. It's probably the most widely used special ability in this speedrun.
Yeah.
Just because you can dash forwards at a really big speed, it uses up 2 of your magic points. So we're gonna try to make sure that we always have a lot of magic points to use. So that will lead to other strats like RNG manipulation to make sure you get drops, you get magic drops. But that's gonna be for the next level. So right now he's fighting a boss which you cannot speed up too much. Just have to make sure that you hit him the first available moment. But it doesn't matter what ability or what weapon you hit him with. He always only take 1 damage. So yeah, there's not much you can do to speed this up.
Something that we haven't really covered yet is that anytime I beat a boss, I want to be as close to the center of the screen as possible. And the reasoning is that you can see it kind of moves me around after to give me this power. That actually delays you getting out of that screen. And your positioning can have a huge impact. It takes 1 frame per pixel that you're off. So you really want to be in close to the center. In some cases, it's actually a bit more ambiguous than that. For example, the center of a screen is not exactly what you think it is. A screen just means 256 by 256 pixels. So if you have a room that's larger, it's actually made up of multiple screens. And finding the center of those is a little more tricky. And yeah, that's something that we found out recently.
Yeah, it's easier when the boss is only in 1 screen, like the previous one, but there's gonna be other bosses in later parts of the game where it's not as obvious. But yeah, basically if you're close to the center, at least vertically, it's not gonna be too bad. And here he's doing a mini game, and what you want to do to speed it up is to die as fast as possible, because you don't really need all those diamonds. Yeah, you get 1 extra life per big diamond. It's like the coins in Mario. 1 small diamond is 1 big diamond is 10.
Yep.
So every 100 you get an extra life. So he already has 11 lives. That's gonna be. He's probably not gonna need them all. Alright, Petalist Castle. So this one is not too difficult. Right off the bat, he's gonna. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there, but thing to note here is we've got RNG manipulation first time. So these guys, just because I happen to kill them on just the right frame, they both dropped a magic, which allows me to refill, and that's what justified me using the comets there at all. In general, a comet can save about, let's just say, 2 seconds on a straightaway. So I want to use them, but I mean, magic is a lot harder to come by than it should be. And in most cases, I want to end up on the bosses with full magic. So there's a lot of trade-offs in trying to figure out when is the exact perfect time to go after some of this stuff.
Yeah, the robot is actually quite precise in terms of manipulation and when exactly to use Command Dash, when it's a good idea to do so. Another note about RNG manipulation. In this game, RNG is quite convenient because it only depends on the number of elapsed frames since the last screen transition. So it's only set in the room. What you did in previous rooms does not affect the RNG. And another good thing about this game is that when you go through a room transition, you can buffer an input, especially a magic input. So that's what he did. He buffered a crescent input as he went to that second room, in order to make sure that he delayed himself always by a very consistent number of frames. And then he only had to go to the right and kill those guys always at the same frame, and it assures getting consistently 2 big magic drops to refill his whole magic. So that's just, as you said, that justifies using pretty much all your magic before.
Right.
And getting the refill, so that's really cool. Okay, Falls of Torments, this is a really trolly stage, because it has those slimes enemy. Yeah. And those slimes enemy, they throw little slimes which block your common dash. So you really want to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it makes you.
He was blocked.
It makes you have to go on the stage kind of like low so that you can avoid that. And I messed up. I went a little too high, and the projectile just knocked you straight out of Comet. There's very few other things in the game that'll do that, but yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, this is really horrible. Even with practice, I still had a hard time with that level.
Yeah, it's really annoying for as short and kind of trivial a stage as it looks. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Here you can also buffer the common dash, and you're gonna buffer here as well to manipulate a magic drop from the first fish. Then use Crescent at the lever, so you don't have to actually physically activate it at the same time.
When a lot of people first get to this stage, they're completely lost just because it's built like a maze, and it's not entirely sensical how the switches work. Like with those switches, any time that you hit a switch, it changes all of the available areas.
Yeah, it changes the whole how the water flows in the whole level. Okay, so now this boss, if you have full magic and use that
The Starburst.
8 fire magic, the Starburst. Don't remember the names. At convenient times, you can defeat this boss pretty easily, but you really want to have full magic upon entering this boss. If you don't, it's gonna be much longer.
Yeah.
And you really don't want that to happen.
So the boss is... I still don't know how you're legitimately supposed to beat it. Uh-oh. That's fine. Just because...
I'm gonna say
yeah, go ahead.
That boss, that boss. If you let those clams live for too long, they generate fishes, and those fishes grow bigger. And when they're really big, it takes so many hits to defeat them, and they're gonna be in your way. And defeating the boss itself is gonna become a nightmare really quickly. But fortunately, by using the star boost ability, you can just kill or damage clams at the same time.
Nice, I got it.
Nice.
The entire. Oh, dude, what the hell? I could use these on other times.
That luck, that's amazing.
Yeah. So there's. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the strategy that he's doing, the general route, he's going slightly out of his way to do this auto-scroll before he was supposed to. And the purpose of that is to get at least one big magic drop. But here it's pretty amazing because he got 3 of them, which is not even useful.
No.
One would have been enough. That's no way. I never saw that before. That's insane. So by getting a full magic drop, it's gonna save about 2 seconds in the next level. So that justifies going slightly out of your way in terms of the general ordering of levels.
Yeah.
So you can see. Yeah.
There's only 13 enemies on that stage, so you have very few actual chances. What? Oh dear.
Oh no! Oh, that's. Yeah,
well,
that's
back
so
up. that has not happened to me before.
Oh, yeah, that's sort of pretty weird. So in the beginning of the level, if you didn't get the full magic drop in the auto-scroller, you would have to go to that part with the potion, but yeah, it takes a bit of time to get there. But normally, what you have to do if you have full magic is that you can completely skip everything in this level. Alright, so next level is a pretty confusing one. Some Fortress of Klar. It's entirely made of wind. There's no solid platform. Everything is winds pushing you up or in any other directions.
Oh, that was real close.
Not too difficult though.
It's not too difficult, but the route is a little tricky if I mess up 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, your route is actually a bit different than mine. But my strats might not be up to date.
Yeah, I picked this up specifically so I can get to the boss with just the right amount of magic.
I remember I used to go to this boss with 4 magic instead of 2, but you seem to be taking more risks than I used to.
I almost got the quick kill, just missed it up a little bit.
Yeah, this quick kill is pretty difficult to do. This boss is RNG, but if you manage to hit him always consistently at the same time, you can manipulate what pattern you're gonna get. It's the same principle as what we explained before with RNG manipulation. It only depends on the number of elapsed frames since the last room transition. So yeah, if you're really consistent in your timing, you can manipulate the patterns.
Yep.
And here he manipulated him in order to go down towards him, and he finished him off with punches. So yeah, it could have been slightly faster, but it was really pretty good. Okay, this level is kind of the gatekeeper in runs because it's really difficult. So there he buffered a jump into a comet dash. So if you jump and within the jump you do a comet dash, you can still do the remainder of the jump out of the comet dash. That was really convenient in the first room of this level. Oh, okay, there he was attempting to do a ground zip, but failed. That's fine. Oh, you're actually going for this. You're going for the lava zip. So
I got the lava zip.
Oh, nice. Wow, I'm impressed. This is really hard to do. It's basically the same strategy as regular zips from clinging on the wall, but you're blind because you're below the screen, so you don't really see what happens. So it's much harder to pull off. And you barely have enough health and enough magic to do all the manipulations in that level. So yeah, I'm really impressed. This is a really hard level to do.
Ooh. Yeah, that was a great stage.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, this is really difficult. Yeah, this is really, really difficult. Yeah, congratulations. That's very impressive.
So, Chirol is probably the most technical stage, just because you have to get all that stuff right. I missed the ground zip, which is, if I was doing attempts, that would be a reset. But for this, it doesn't matter a whole lot. It saves about 4 seconds. But yeah, getting the rest of the stage fine, especially first try, is still really good.
Yep.
Forest is just kind of a sideshow, so.
Yeah, this forest has a quick ending. It's like a secret ending. You can just go there really quickly, and that's it. Okay, so this is another pretty tricky level. Maybe not as much as Chirol, but still. Here you're gonna attempt...
Barely.
But using a damage boost to get inside the spike room. Oh, damn it. So he attempted another glitch where you can go inside the moving ceiling. So there's a specific timing to do that. It's not too hard, but yeah, too bad he failed the first time. So thanks to that he skipped, I believe, 2 cycles of the moving ceiling. So that's really good. It's not too hard to do, and yet skipping another 1 or 2 cycles. If you're really lucky, that one of those enemies can drop a big magic refill, but there's no real manipulation for that. It's too precise. And if you were really lucky enough to get it, you could use a couple extra comet dashes in that next room. So here he manipulated, that's why he punched twice. It was another RNG manipulation. Punch twice to make sure that you delay yourself consistently by a certain number of frames. And the first enemy is always gonna give you a good job. Wow. Ah, I didn't know that one. Is that a new...
no, it's slower, but in this case I'm actually down magic, so I needed some way to recover because of the death.
I've learned something. Yeah, this is something I didn't know.
Yeah, that was one that I found back when Blecky and Lee were experimenting with all the RNG manipulation.
Why did it not be that bad? Because you killed that dragon really early, so it didn't cause any lag.
Yeah, the lag in that room is awful, and like you honestly don't lose a whole lot because of it.
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 cycle. There's a trick in the timing. If you get... So when you're in Warrior Force, you do double damage. But it lasts just barely long enough that you can get 6 hits in with Warrior Force. Otherwise, you have to do 1 extra cycle afterwards. and that's kind of why I position myself where I do in the air, so I fall and get hit immediately.
Yeah, I believe you cannot do less than 9 hits.
No.
I think you get the first 5 hits that are doubled.
You can get 6 just barely.
6? Okay.
Well, I think it's whichever. It's some amount, and the last one's really close. This mini game, for what it looks like, it's actually really hard to control because it kind of keeps you up at a constant momentum, and you really, anytime that you press a button, you keep that momentum. So,
especially horizontally, it seems that horizontal directions are make you move really fast. It's a bit wonky.
Yeah. But yeah, now we're heading into the final stage. But first, the final major challenge is to not continue talking to the old man here.
Yes. Yeah, he gives you some story elements, but you have to select resume there.
Yeah, normally like he'll
care.
talk to you and you just kind of mash through it until you get to a certain point. But here he only has one line. So if you're mashing, you end up just asking him, yes, please tell me more about the story until now. And we don't care about that.
Okay, so this is the final autoscroller before the boss rush, because every game needs a boss rush before the actual final boss. But fortunately, we're way more powerful than we were when we first fought these bosses. Don't die!
I'm fine, I'm fine. Just playing around.
Yeah. Dying in this autoscroller is something that I'm really good at.
I can get a little tense in this stage if I have a good run going, for example, just because like there are some jumps that you have to make that aren't trivial, and like if you're a little nervous, it can really get to you and kind of toss you off. But now we do boss rush, except we have the lovely Phoenix power, which lets us not care about most bosses. Most being the operative word here. Because unfortunately...
Yes, that first one is really a breeze. But this one, no, this one is the same as before.
Yeah,
because
Phoenix
he still only takes one damage. Even with Phoenix or Star Force or whatever, you cannot really speed up this fight.
This last jump on this phase is actually pretty tough. It does take kind of good positioning, but I've been doing this long enough, I just kind of know where it is.
Yeah, jumping over on the third phase. Because yeah, on the third phase he's still not big enough so you can hide in the corner. You still have to jump over. And if you want to be safe, you can use a comet dash. You don't really need to, because you're gonna get a health refill after the boss.
Yep.
So,
so one of the things that has killed me before is if you try to swag around too much in that room, like you can do some zips. You can actually zip yourself onto the ceiling, in which case you're kind of done. You have to wait for the boss to kill you very slowly if that happens, because there's no way to get down. You just kind of keep jumping when you're at the top of the screen.
Oh, that would really suck.
Yeah, so
okay, yeah.
That's why I don't swag too much anymore.
So 4 comet dashes is still the fastest way to deal with the wall boss.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Phoenix only does 4 damage to him instead of the usual 8. So it's still best to use something that costs a little less magic and the same amount of damage. This kill is kind of hard. Oh, I missed one cycle. Damn. I should still be okay, but it's going to take a little longer now. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
That quick kill is actually fairly hard, just because you do need to do a fairly tight circle in order to get it going well, and it's just kind of tricky to get.
Yeah, this is just execution, not super hard. Also, yeah, this one you need to wait a little bit before you start using Phoenix. It's all about positioning. You want to make sure that you get him to do what you want.
Yeah,
And
all of
this
his
one is
patterns
not
are based on your distance to him at the present time. So, like, he will operate differently depending on where you are. And you really can't do anything quick enough to, like, get out to him. So you just wait for him to bum rush you. Because he will always do that if you're at that distance.
Okay, so now we're fighting Ashura. It's the first phase of the final boss, but fortunately this one is not too hard. But still, there's one danger. If he manages to escape you, or if you don't get the 3 hits on both Phoenixes, then you might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's
But
also a problem.
It should go fine.
It's also a problem if you get hit, for example. Like, you're just a little slow in getting the second Phoenix. If he hits you, that means that you can't use the fastest strat on the next fight, which is the real final boss.
Yeah. And this one is difficult.
It's a lot... well, so if you're just doing this casually, yeah, it's pretty tough. Even in the speedrun, we have a pretty set way of doing it, but a few too many screw-ups and it can become a real nightmare.
Yeah, it's precise. What you're relying on is your healing. You want to punch him and then get hit by him, because getting hit by his body is only worth 1 point of damage, and that's by far the easiest way to escape from his laser, because every time you hit him, he fires a laser through his forehead. And that laser costs you, that does 2 damage to you, and you cannot really afford taking that. So it's better to just damage yourself in order to boost through the laser by taking damages that are only worth
And
1.
done.
Congratulations, wow. 2640, that's a really good time.
And I had the death in Great Tower too, so yeah, that's a good time. That beats my... So,
Congrats, that's really, really solid.
when I first submitted this to SDA, I had a 2645, and that was a good run, I will say that. But I neglected, well, not neglected, but just we gradually found out some new strategies and improved it further from there, and then that allowed me to bring it down to 2606 before that time period finished. And that 2606 stood from, I want to say, April in 2012 until I'd like October, November of just last year, when Darklight Baco and Lahulk picked it up as part of that. So he picked it up for the 12-hour challenge, and he had so much fun with it. He went back and did more runs, and he was so Lahulk, you were probably the first one to get below 26. Is that right?
I technically did, because I used the Japanese version. Remember that? And that one I measured that it's pretty much exactly 20 seconds faster.
Okay.
Just because of cutscenes. So I got to 2539, so which would have been a 2559 on the US version. So
right.
I technically did. So that's still my PB, by the way.
Yep.
I still haven't.
Well, that's.
That.
I mean, there's.
Then you beat that time.
Yeah.
Later on. Yeah, you got to 2548, if I'm correct. 40 something.
Yeah, 40. Let's call it 48. And
Yeah,
a lot of that was basically just due to the new, like the ground zips and a couple of new strategies throughout. Like, there wasn't any one major time saver. It was all a lot of, well, here you can gain half a second, there you can gain 1 second, and kind of just getting more optimal strats per stage. I want to give a quick shout out to our favorite helper and developer, Olaf Olafsson, who will appear in the credits pretty soon. But yeah, so if you go and watch my record run, it can still be improved by probably another 8 to 15 seconds if it's absolutely perfect. That also relies on getting some of the actual lucky drops, and you need to get all the ground zips, and it's a very high barrier in terms of like the execution that you need. But if you just want to kind of pick a game up and have fun with it, learn zips or even not learn zips, like I'd recommend Skyblazers. Like, everything in here, there's alternatives to do. There's nothing that's like absolutely too difficult, or things that if you miss, like, the run's over. There's plenty to kind of keep you busy and well, pretty satisfied here. So give it a try if you're looking for a new speed game.
Yeah, I concur with that. It's a game that I've learned and enjoyed running. So. The ground zips, though, they're really frame perfect, but there's always the alternative of using the zips from walls, which are easier to do.
Yeah, the ground zips are a sequence of, on 3 frames, you need to be hitting the right sequence of buttons on all 3 frames, or else you don't get anything.
Yeah, it's the jump, and exactly 2 frames after you have to hit X, and it's only exactly 2 frames after. If it's 1 or 3 frames, it does not work. So it's frame perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. But that said, like the sum of the ground zips that get used in the run are saves about 1 second, and then saves about 4 seconds. So if you're willing to give up 5 seconds, like you really don't have to mess with ground zips at all. And the rest of the regular zips are pretty easy. Like I said, there's not really a penalty for loss in most cases. So, like, if you aren't sure of the timing, you can just mash it out, and eventually it'll happen.
Yeah, conveniently you have those mini games that you skip, but you can still collect a lot of diamonds there and get some extra lives. If you're just starting out and dying a lot, you will still have a pretty good supply of lives. So, yeah, getting a run together should not be a big issue.
Yep.
Like for most speed games, it's getting a really fast run, which becomes very difficult.
Yeah, there's very minor optimizations to pick up, but yeah. So that's it for Skyblazer. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you especially to LaHulk for joining me on commentary. It's
no problem.
been great having you along for the ride. And let's see, up next, I think we've got Donkey Kong Country 2.